Welcome, Rebel fans, to UNLV's live stream of the 2007 Mountain West Conference Men's Basketball Championship game versus the BYU Cougars. Today, before we get things started and kicked off, we just firstly want to point out and acknowledge the tough times that everybody's going through today. Not just in Las Vegas, in Nevada, but in the country and across the world. You just want to make sure that everybody is doing well, staying safe, trying to be healthy, but also remember social distancing. For example, while we're doing this here this afternoon. With that said, my name is Curtis Terry, former UNLV Runnin Rebel, but it's not just going to be me with you this afternoon. We're going to be joined by former Runnin Rebel himself, as well as current UNLV assistant basketball coach Kevin Kruger, as well as longtime Las Vegas native, former Stanford Cardinal, four-time Final Four participant, and new Lady Rebels basketball coach Lindy Rocque. And as we kind of jump right into it, I mean, we've already got some shots and things here, but Lindy, curious, how is it being back in Las Vegas and now coaching the team that you probably cheered along many years as a longtime Las Vegas native?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually just drove in from California this morning, trying to find a place to live this weekend, so I don't have to stay with my parents for the whole first year of being the head coach. That's probably not a good idea for them or for me. So just got back into town literally like an hour ago, and it's kind of driving around the mountain from California and then opening up to the Strip. It was a pretty cool feeling to think that this is now home again. So I am super excited. Some of it still hasn't maybe quite settled in, especially kind of with what's going on in the world. But excited to get going and lead the Lady Rebels.
That's awesome. And before I got to throw one more question at you real quick, Kevin. How about that hair, man? It's been a while since you had some hair like that, huh?
Yeah, it was just all downhill from there, really. Like every day, just noticeably different. Thanks, man.
You still look good, though, man. The hair may not be your strong suit anymore, but you still look good.
Yeah.
Lindy, just curious, does that drive in? I mean, obviously it's a typical drive from California to Vegas, but how long did it take? Was it pretty empty on the roads?
It was pretty empty on the road. From the Bay Area, it was about 7.5 hours, I think, which was like the quickest that I've ever done it. Obviously, I made the drive a few times when I was a student, so it was pretty quick. Not even many truckers or different things on kind of the passes, which can slow some things down. So it was like an easy drive, but then kind of, obviously for the wrong reasons. But I'm just happy to be here.
Kevin, how much do you remember this game?
A little bit. I know it's kind of a blur. What about you?
Well, I definitely remember how it ended. That's for sure. I remember the celebration, but I kind of cheated. I rewatched this the other day. I think I told you that. I rewatched it Wednesday night, and my wife comes downstairs. And she's like, "Really? This is what you're watching?" I was like, "Hey, yeah, of course, the glory days."
Well, I remember we got off to a little bit of a rough start. I mean, it makes it for a better story, but
yeah. We can, and I don't know if you got the email I sent you, Lindy, but I sent across the box score from this game because Kevin was obviously gloating about it. But this game doesn't start very fun, at least not from the Rebels' standpoint. 2-0 right now. I think we can let some time pass, but I know what it's going to get to before it gets any better.
I remember being at this game. I think this might be one of the last Rebel games that I was a junior in high school. And then my senior year, I know, obviously, kind of with our own playing season, but I think this was one of the last few games that I actually was a fan at for the Rebels, which is kind of funny.
We'll give you a pass, though, because those subsequent years following, we know you were playing in the Women's Final Four, so.
Yeah. It was a little busy.
Free pass.
What are you guys watching kind of some of this even footage, like the basic things of like how boring the court is compared to what it is now? I don't know if this is boring or classic or the new courts are busy, but
new court's definitely busy. But yeah, that's kind of the start of when the conference has kind of made switches to the the designs and the kind of the theater of it all, it feels like, because we thought it was a big deal that they changed out the logo. I remember that.
Yeah, this is not fun. It's classic now, I guess you could call it. It seemed like a big deal, like Kevin, like you said, it seemed like a big deal then. Now it definitely seems kind of boring. You definitely need the Vegas skyline across the court. At least liven it up a bit.
Do we score?
Oh, it's wild, man. It's going to be a minute. I'm going to tell you that right now.
About time you took it.
No, but we keep chucking them up there, though. You get in on the action here in a minute, too. Hey, do you remember Jimmy Balderson? Do you remember that name?
Balderson?
Yeah, he's number 23 on BYU. He started, but I had no idea who they were talking about, even seeing him when the game first started.
Nope. I remember, like Lee Kamard, Ainge, Keenan Young, obviously, Playstead. But, yeah, no, I didn't remember. I remember him I remember his face, but I don't remember his name.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
How about those shorts? They're much longer than they are these days.
Those are right on par, right? Those are
Baggy was in.
Yeah.
Baggier the better.
Yeah.
That's a good shot.
It was a good look. I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
Perfect step through three. Yeah. Just in Brice Hamilton mode.
Hey. Brice picked up a lot of hardware this season, man.
Sure did.
What do you and I mean, heck, while we're talking about that with Brice, I mean, he obviously picked up a lot of awards during the course of the season. For you guys as a coaching staff, I mean, what did you guys see in terms of the growth from what he did last year, what you knew you were getting coming into the season, and then from what he did to start the season, just through the course of it?
Yeah, Brice is. I mean, you don't usually see that kind of jump from guys like within the season. But Brice, I mean, he came out kind of a little. He's quiet in nature, so even through practice, you kind of gotta. His biggest challenge has always been, getting him to talk and getting him to invest a little bit more, kind of take a little more ownership so that he feels a little more responsible. But I remember he was struggling a little bit, and Coach played him, I think, like 7 or 8 minutes against Robert Morris, I believe, over the Christmas break, and it really kind of changed his season. He kind of entered practice with a whole new attitude and mindset that he wasn't just going to go play in games. And I really feel like that was kind of the turning point for him on a personal level of just kind of seeing things with a better mindset and approaching things a little better, a little differently, so that, because then, I mean, he just came out scoring and just really playing well, really, the rest of the year.
And I forgot to mention for everybody that's participating in the live stream right now.
Yay, we're on the board.
Go, Mike Ume.
Hey, if anybody was going to be Mike, that was going to save the day. We're going to be throwing out questions and having Lindy, Kevin, and myself answer questions. So anybody on the live stream, feel free to shoot those questions through across Twitter, across Instagram. We'll make sure that we get those addressed. And the first one that came through so far, Matthew Martinez from YouTube asked, what's the biggest change in UNLV basketball compared to then, 2007, which we're seeing, and to now, 2020? And even Lindy, from your standpoint, what are the things that you've noticed that you've seen just from your time close to the program and then now that you're returning to the program?
Well, it's pretty funny because obviously, for your guys' team for this game, I feel like I had very much a kid, a player perspective, and I thought you guys were so big and so strong and so fast, and then now having some even more coaching experience and, coaching along obviously other men's teams, that is actually more normal. But I just remember, from teams back in the day, just playing with such a tenacious fierceness that was palpable in the MAC. And, it just, whether it was diving for balls or just going for boards, and honestly, obviously I've kind of been doing my own coaching the last few years, but I Rebels are my home team, so I've always kept tabs and, was able to catch a bunch of games this year, and the San Diego State game, of course, had that on my TV. So, I like what TJ and the guys are doing. I think they're kind of getting that grit back. Maybe that, I think really was demonstrated in Look at those muscles right there. So, I mean, I think I have two different lenses that I see it through now, but what I kind of remember from this game and this team, and then even watching some of the games from this year.
What about you, Kevin? What's the biggest thing that is there a lot of? Do you see any similarities between this group, or do you remember any similarities to what guys are doing now, what you guys are trying to preach now?
Yeah, I think that one of the memories going back was just kind of I just felt that our group we played hard, and we had a pretty good kind of camaraderie in the sense of playing for each other. And I think this group, especially this past year, you could see that kind of develop over time. You could see we were a little hesitant at first, and then we just continued to grow. And I think this year's team, it really paid off, especially, toward the end, and Eli's injury being, just so unfortunate in the timing of it, or second injury, I should say, because I really felt like we were rolling there. I mean, we go to San Jose, obviously a San Diego State game. We had Boise at home on senior night and just played an unbelievable game. And then, to lose him at the end of the San Jose State game kind of just took the air out of our sails a little bit, because we were riding so high. But I just think that that was just kind of some of the similarities were just, the guys really just kind of forfeited a lot of themselves and just kind of played for each other. And Curtis Terry making an appearance here, by the way.
Hey, there we go. Hair, socks, and all.
I'm not sure if you got an assist for that, but that'd be an assist today, because all you did was throw it to the guy who scored 8 seconds later. But that's an assist today.
I'll take it, man.
Check the box score.
That's hard to come by back then, playing with this group of guys. Now, I think you're right, though. I think the biggest thing that stood out to me, again, I watched this the other day because there's nothing else to watch on. You can only watch so much Tiger King. But in facts, in terms of how hard we played, I think that really stood out to me is like, again, we started this game down 10-0. It was 16-3. And like, it seemed like Coach Kruger was like just searching for answers, but he knew it was going to come eventually. But we just kept grinding away. It was just us. Like, it didn't matter who was going to do it, because at this stretch of the game, I mean, Mike Ume was Umi Wade, as we used to call it. I mean, he just did his thing, took over the game. But we just kind of buckled down and played defensively hard-nosed. And I think that's what you guys as a team started to do this year at the end of the season. It really started to come across. Like, it didn't matter who we were playing. We were going to figure out a way to win, if it was scoring, if it was defensively. And I think it was a lot of fun to play in back then. And obviously it's a lot of fun to watch you guys in the group now get it done on the court.
And we didn't box out Kamar. I do remember that. I think he had like 6 or 7 offensive rebounds in the first half.
I don't know who was guarding that possession. Probably me,
but Joel Anthony on the court right there, the big guy, 10-year NBA veteran, 2 rings in Miami, starter with LeBron on the Heatles.
Yeah.
But he was obviously, I think he had the Mountain West record and one off the NCAA record for blocks in a game. I mean, obviously him and Gaston Asinge on the back protecting the rim kind of allowed us to run around crazy and, gamble and cheat a little bit, trap randomly, which, coach always liked that the most, the more unpredictable you can be. But when you got a guy like Joel back there, it makes things a little different.
You always take chances, right? I mean, that was the thing I used to tell people. Like, we used to be able to get up and pressure. And if you get beat, it was like, oh shucks, sorry for you. You got to run into Joel or Gaston back there. I mean, to talk about just what Joel brought to the table, because Joel started his freshman or his junior year, then he redshirted, and then he got to play this year when you came in. I mean, he very easily could have been like, no, I want to continue to play, but he unselfishly wanted to develop. Was the first guy in the gym, last guy out of the gym, always committed to weights, and comes off the bench on this team and ultimately wins 2 NBA championships with LeBron, makes $20 million. Like, just the work ethic of that is kind of what set the tone for me in college. And I think obviously we kind of carried that through, and that's what this team was all about.
Yeah, I think Joel's he was like the poster child for, buying in. And, I mean, after his junior year, didn't have a huge role. You guys actually beat us at Arizona State in the NIT. And he met with the coaches, and they got very specific with the next year of his life, because they felt he could play the game for a long time. And he just kind of bought in. I remember at the time, there you go, Kurt.
Yeah.
Lou Amundsen was really annoyed because he knew for his senior year, Joel was redshirting. And he knew how much that Joel would help that team. Lou again, or also played in the NBA for 9 or 10 years. But Joel really bought into that and really bought into the year of work. And, the coaches still to this day, even, at Oklahoma, they were always talking about Joel Anthony and the buy-in that he had. But then also the what that does for your younger group and for the rest of the guys when you've got a, 6'9", 250-pound freak athlete taking a year off from playing so that he can get better. It just sets the tone. Like Curtis, like you said, seeing that really just kind of changes your mentality and your mindset when you walk in the gym every day.
For sure, 100%. And also, we're going to give shout-outs as we go through these things. We know a couple people are commenting. We've got to give a shout-out to Senior Associate Commissioner Dan Butterly over at the Mountain West. Thanks for tuning in. Even though you're probably a neutral Mountain West guy, we know you love your Runnin' Rebels, especially when they win the championship. Lindy, question, because I did my research. I knew we were going to get thrown in the hot seat here. We're going to have some fun. Now, tell me this. You did some time as a grad assistant at OU, correct?
I did.
Do you have any crossover when Kevin was there as well?
Obviously with his dad and the staff and the guys there, now that they've kind of, a few of the guys have gone, the guys meaning the assistant coaches have gone to become head coaches, and Lou and some of those guys. But I did, and frankly, that was like a big reason or a big draw for me to go to Oklahoma because, with my dad kind of coaching in the area, he became pretty good friends with Coach Kruger and his whole staff being really open and willing to, letting us come to practice and stuff. And so, I've always, Coach Kruger has been nothing but awesome for our family, and Kevin was right along. Kevin, I think I was only there 2 years, but I think you came right after, if I remember. I was going out. I think you were coming in, but even when I was at Oklahoma, he was, always open door to talk hoops or let me watch practice and stuff. So, still big fans of those guys, and love watching the Sooners, while he's there.
I'm sorry, guys. We got that was not a charge. We got to figure out what refs on this game. Because I know Dave Hall is out there. There's a couple other guys, but gosh,
your guy Vern from Wyoming's on there.
Oh, Vern's definitely there. Yeah, that's one of my better open court ball handling moves, and they just took it from me.
Little did you know at this point right now that the next season you would be day in and day out running the show.
No, man, no clue. Steve, I probably shouldn't say hell, but I just did. But no, man, I had no clue. My kind of career arc at UNLV was crazy, none the least. I mean, like Lindy said, kind of the reason for her having a connection to want to go to OU was the relationship that her dad had with your dad. For me wanting to come to UNLV was because that your dad coached Jason when your dad was coach of the Hawks. And that's how I met you years ago. And I think you were like 15, I was 14, and you were hanging out at the Hawks games. But no, I never would have thought in a million years that we'd go from this game to next year running it back. And we're trying to replicate what we did with you guys as me being the point guard, because Lord knows I wasn't prepared for it. But I got to back you up a little bit.
You had the socks. That's all that mattered. Come on. Like a superpower.
Exactly. Socks in the hair.
So we got Marcus Lawrence from Gorman.
Yep.
Rene Rougeau. Etowanda, Gaston from Compton JUCO, Wink, and Ume.
Yeah.
How much did you?
I do remember Mike Ume having a day.
Yeah. If he didn't, we would have got ran out the gym.
Yeah, I think he scored most of the points early.
I remember just the battles over the years with you guys and BYU specifically. It was kind of like maybe a little bit of an unspoken hatred, rivalry. Do you guys, remember kind of those feelings with playing against them?
It wasn't unspoken. To this day, not a fan of those people over there. I love when BYU was in the conference. I mean, those were always good road trips along with Utah, but just beating up on each other. And it was either we go to BYU and we get blown out the Marriott Center, and they would come back, they get blown out the Thomas and Mack. And so we always had a rubber match first week of March in Vegas, which we always won. But those were great battles. I mean, and Coach Rose, man in the sidelines over there, his hair was a lot darker. And then Coach Rice is in the back still hiding as well. But those are some good battles that we used to have back in the day for sure.
I think the rivalry, it kind of became a rivalry almost overnight because, like you said, we had the rubber match this year in Vegas, and then next year with Curtis's group, they also had the rubber match in Vegas in the final, and we won that one as well. So it kind of created because BYU fans just hated the fact that it was in Vegas, and so it just kind of added to it. I mean, it was already great. It was already a great matchup as it was, but then when you added the fact that the tournament was in Vegas and we happened to win both of them, it just kind of sped up the rivalry. So it felt like even though it was kind of a new rivalry in a sense for our group that was there, it kind of overnight felt like it had been a rivalry for quite some time.
Still is. Even the last time we played them, I think that was December 1st or 2nd or December 7th, the Vivint Center in Utah this past December. We took it on the chin. I know we're getting back though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure why you had to bring that up.
Because, man, it's adding fuel to the fire. With that said, though, Coach Kevin, we got a fan from Instagram, Trey Trapedi. How do you instill the fire and mindset that you had as a player into your current players?
I'm just trying to be around him, I guess. My issue as a player was never really ramping it up in terms of like anger and hatred. It was always kind of ramping it down. And as Curtis, I'm sure, can vouch for it. So that was kind of always my issue, especially with Steve Henson and Grinsing on the sideline, was always trying to calm me down more than anything. But this group, Marvin plays with such a great demeanor and kind of keeps the troops kind of level-headed. You never know, you never have to worry about Brice getting overexcited about anything. And so like even when Eli was playing well and he played with a little bit of fire and kind of taunting the crowd here and there, you kind of need that. But then at the same time, you also have to talk to him about kind of bringing it back a little bit, because there is a line, you don't want to cross it. And when you're in the heat of the battle, you don't really care about it. You just kind of feel like you do whatever you have to do. But no, just keep working at it and talking, and it's just kind of one of those things that develops.
Well, we know you like to talk, so we know you'll get your point across as long as the guys are listening.
Yeah.
Lindy, I know you're just back in Vegas, but I mean, I'm probably not the only one. Everybody's interested and excited about you getting your staff put together. What's that been like so far? Kind of where you guys sit with getting your staff put together and kind of really starting to put your fingerprints on the program.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, with kind of the situation in the world right now, there's not a lot of movement of bodies and people and things. So it's actually given me a great opportunity and great time to really find the right people and have as many phone calls as I need, because anyone's willing to talk right now. So I'm trying to keep it on the positive. They've canceled just about all of the recruiting activities, so there's not too much of a stress or pressure to feel like I have to hire someone today so that they can hit the ground running. I mean, obviously there's lots of work to do and things to be done, but with no student athletes on campus, there's no workouts, there's no recruiting. That kind of the stress and obviously it's a huge priority for me, but really I think it's mainly about finding the right people. So kind of the blessing in disguise with all of this kind of quarantine and stuff is being able to cultivate and foster relationships and really find the right people and a great balance, I think, is mainly what I'm looking for, with my own strengths and weaknesses, personality balance, and actually talking a lot with the girls of what I feel like they need and the support and kind of the types of voices that they need to hear from. So it's, I guess, to describe it, it may be a little slower than traditional, but it's going well, and I'm okay with it. So I'm going to find the right people that are going to bleed Rebel Red like I do, and that's the main thing.
I love that. That's awesome. And I don't know if you're looking. I'll go ahead and drop it for myself. I used to coach women's basketball back in Seattle a couple years ago. So if you're looking for somebody, Brittany McPhee, actually, I think did you coach her?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, I coached against her in high school. When she was in high school up in Seattle, I coached against her. Her and her sister used to kick our butts.
Yeah.
Some good players, definitely, for sure. So keep an eye on what you guys have going up there. So hopefully, and we know you will replicate what you guys did there here in Vegas as well.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Now, Kevin, how did we get out of this funk, man? I mean, we were getting our butts kicked down 16-3 to start the game. We started 0 of 10 from the field. We battled back to, 26-37 here to start the second half. But, I mean, can you talk about Keena Young and what he just did and who he was as a player, and kind of what would you do with a player like Keena Young if he was on your team?
I think BYU does it pretty well. You just kind of keep feeding him. But, yeah, conference player of the year that year had Wendell Knott. I think he had back-to-back, kind of rolled his ankle, played through it, came back, rolled his ankle again. Kind of had a rough 2 or 3 week stretch. Had he not done that, I think Wendell might have won player of the year that year, but Keena Young ends up winning it. And, he was just a bull. I remember that. And, but we're pressing. You can tell watching it. I mean, this is the first time I've watched it since. You can see, open shots not going in, coming off, like a roll replace. We're not necessarily ready with our feet, to shoot the ball. You can see we're kind of pressing. We know we're at home. We know we should win. We had been playing well. I think we had a pretty good winning streak going into that game. So, we got a foul call on that one, but you just kind of seem out of sorts. But BYU was definitely, they were rolling as well. And, I do remember just that feeling of kind of pressing a little bit, just kind of we got to get this thing going a little bit. As you see Steve Henson, who's at Texas San Antonio, sitting next to Coach right there. As Lindy mentioned, he was at OU for a couple of years, but Mike Lume saves the day, no doubt about that.
No better time for Mike to put the cape on and save us than this day. Kevin, and we got to talk about Wink, because obviously, everybody loves Wink. Who doesn't love Wink, right? I think he's top 5 all time in UNLV in points scored. What was your favorite part of Wink Adams' game, though? Obviously you got to play with him for a year. We got to play with him in the summer. What was your favorite part of playing with and watching Wink Adams?
Wink, the best part about Wink is he was just consistent. You just knew what you were going to get with Wink, and Wink is a ball player. You knew at practice he's going to. He's going to practice hard. He's going to play hard. Anytime. I remember the only thing that Wink hated and that bothered Wink was conditioning. And you remember that? He would always ask if we were on a track team. He just hated getting on the line and just running down and back. But as soon as the ball got out there, he would play he'd play at Cox practice, then he'd go to the rec, then he'd go to high school. He just always loved to play. And that was the thing about Wink. He was just so consistent, but definitely one of the best Rebels of all time. Had a great NCAA tournament, great conference tournament, and one of the best 4-year careers in Rebel history.
I agree. I love playing with Wink. Yes, Wink was a ball player. Wasn't much of a workout enthusiast.
Nope.
But definitely would come to play ball. That's for sure. Lindy, you obviously grew up in Vegas. What are your biggest or your favorite just standout Rebel moments, and but also your favorite Rebel players that you've seen growing up?
Well, there's probably too many to count. I remember back the T-Nez days and Keon Clark and Mark Dickel. I remember Mark Dickel was one of my first ever favorite players. And he had his cool accent, and he was just a baller and played so hard, and he'd get so sweaty. And then I was little. I was probably 5, 6, maybe 7. And so I remember those guys, pretty vividly. But let's see. You mentioned Lou earlier. Amundsen, I loved him. He's so athletic, rebounder, just jumping over people, on people. Sometimes might have seemed out of control, but he got so much better, I think, in his time at UNLV. And you could it was cool to literally see his growth. There's something that
Who was
goes
that?
in.
Who was that right there that made that big 3 ball?
Yeah. Throw it up.
There he is.
All right, we can turn it off now.
Yeah, so, here we go. So throw it inside. Oh,
Flop.
That's Gaston for the floor, huh?
Gaston's still playing, by the way.
There it is.
Oh! There we go. I had a feeling, though, anytime Kevin's coming in transition, he's 90% going to pull up and shoot that one. Or he's going to make a great play. So, I mean, it's one or the other.
Shoot or shoot, man. Shoot or shoot.
Shoot or shoot.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Man, I was calling I called the Mountain West tournament for the men's and women's on the Mountain West Radio Network, and we had the BYU, the Boise State and the Fresno State women's game, and I'll tell you that was one of the best basketball games I've seen in a long time. And Riley Lupfer from Boise State, that girl, she came out and just couldn't hit a shot. And I was like, it's all right, shoot or shoot, shoot or shoot. Second half, she came out and hit a couple big ones, and I said, hey, Riley, in postgame, like, Riley, if you get the ball right now at half court and turn and shoot, are you gonna make it? She was like, yes. Yeah. Shoot or shoot. That is for sure.
Right.
Oh.
Has no race or gender. Shoot or shoot.
No. Oh, yeah. So we got let's see, we got a couple more. We'll throw out some more questions here. We got okay, we got one here from is this on Twitter or Instagram? Bham13. I think that's Brice Hamilton? Yeah, Brice Hamilton. Why is Coach Kruger so ugly? Oh.
That hurts.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
First of all, it's not nice.
No, that's not my fault, Brice.
Why would you read that one?
I'm just reading what I'm passed along here by the people higher up the ladder than me.
The Grossman must just be out to get me.
Does he? Oh, so I'm curious now. Does he mean like present day, like grown dad bod, sexy Kev, or does he mean like college Kev, sexy Kev?
Dad bods are in.
Oh, 100%.
And he's lucky that we have to do this whole quarantine thing because being in charge of his workouts, I'll probably forget about that, to be honest, by the next time I see him. But if I don't, we'll have to run the quarantine bot out of him.
There we go. That's going to hit us all. I got another question here. Oh, this actually comes from in-house one.
You need to screen this one by me first?
No, it's not about you. This is not about you.
Okay.
Actually, it is about you. It's about us. So, and this comes, and I'll go ahead and put him on blast here, though. Loyal Rebel supporter, academic support counselor, Connor Robinson, who's a big-time UNLV fan growing up. But he says, better hair, 2007 Curtis or 2007 Kevin?
Ooh.
I mean, you know which way I'm voting.
Yeah, I know you love my hair too.
So does this mean I get the rubber vote here?
It might be a while till we see me again because Kevin was taking all my minutes right now. But
yeah.
That goes. Kevin, did you notice on the bench though, the guy wearing the big orange polo on our bench? The very end here, it comes in the right corner.
Orange polo?
Orange, the orange polo.
That Stretch?
Yep, Mr. Jerome Johnson himself.
Stretch. From Baltimore, right?
Yeah, B-Moore went to Hargrave Military Academy, then came out west.
Was super excited about that bucket right there, if you notice.
Mm-hmm. And here comes this little run that we're making, though.
Yeah, we're making a run here.
Why would we put...
Oh!
Tip.
I think so, too. That's a good shot, though. I'm okay with that, man. If you make that, we're going to blow the roof off this place.
He was probably telling me to calm down right there because I was probably about to lose my mind.
Wendell. Oh, we got a question about Wendell, too, since we're talking about Wendell White. Wendell White. Chris J. Bukowski. What was it like to watch Wendell White transform into a dominant player? Kev, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I only knew him for the 1 year of, conference player of the year, arguably. So I knew he was All-American in JUCO, I believe. if I remember correctly. But yeah, I only knew him for that 1 year, and he was obviously a leading scorer, leading rebounder, so he was kind of our rock. We knew he could go to a lot, won multiple games for us, but I don't know. Talked about the year before.
Yeah, I think the year before. I think you're right. I mean, Wendell came in JUCO, all these accolades from JUCO, California Player of the Year, went to junior college, and was highly recruited coming out. And I think he was playing in the same position that year before. He had the opportunities, but I just think in terms of being able to shoulder that load, you know what I mean, and like knowing what's around you, and do I have to be the leader? Do I have to score? Do I have to defend? Do everything? It kind of fell on him before. But I think just that maturity of our group, having Joel be able to redshirt, being able to play with Lou Amundsen, but then losing Lou Amundsen, having you come in, getting a healthy Mike Ume on the court, and kind of all of our pieces just start to fall into place. I mean, Wendell, like him and Keena Young, they're spitting images of each other on the court and what they do. Obviously, I'm going to lean towards Wendell's side, but I know Wendell then went to go on and have a great career in Japan. And he played, I don't know how many years he's played in Japan, but also he's got billboards over there himself. He's got Spalding basketball commercials. He's got TV commercials, shoe commercials. I mean, it's amazing. Wendell not only took over the Mountain West, but he took over Japan. I'm not a fan of Lee Kamard, though, personally.
I was actually Lee Kamard's host when he visited Arizona State. He's from Mesa.
Yeah.
Small world.
How was that visit? Was it fun?
Yeah. I mean, as far as I was concerned. I mean, I think he was going to BYU the whole time, but whatever.
There you go. Austin Ainge. Now you've had a couple battles with Austin Ainge, didn't you? Not only this time, but did you guys compete against each other when you were in the D League as well?
Yeah. Well, no. Did he? He didn't play in the D League.
He was the coach of one of the teams, though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So after this, I got to play in the D League in Provo, Utah. So, yeah, he was coaching in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, we did have some good battles.
Austin Ainge.
Who's now in Boston with, is like an assistant GM, I think. Good for him.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. And Joel. Oh, that doesn't happen often. Joel doesn't get beat one-on-one in the post very often.
Keena Young he played really well that day. I remember we didn't have much of an answer for him.
Oh. So unselfish. That was the thing about our team.
We ran that play. That was kind of our go-to play there late when we needed something. Just a little high pick and roll with Wendell. Didn't really matter how they played it, because if they switched, he was so much bigger than most guards. But if they hedged or showed or whatever you want to say, then you just kind of throw it back to him. He's attacking a closeout shooter in the corner. And he won the game at Hawaii with a shot late. Obviously made the right play there. It was kind of a go-to just to get him in an advantage situation.
Your dad still runs that play at Oklahoma for that Manic kid.
Oh yeah, for Brady. I mean, the having the four-man that can stretch the floor is really kind of when he's been his teams have kind of taken that next level, I think, just because he likes that high ball screen, spread the defense out, and then kind of make plays behind it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, Coach Kruger wears that one out. As long as he got someone that can make a play off the bounce, and he's got a mobile big man. Because I was just watching one of the old games just the other day, since all these replays were on. It was KU in Oklahoma when they went to quad 4 overtime or something the other day. And Coach Kruger's running that same play. I was like, oh, look, that's just like Kevin's going to do coming off here up this pick and roll, throwing back to Wendell. Good times. Good stuff.
That's the one where Buddy had 48.
Yeah. Lindy, for us, can you talk a bit about what you guys have going on through the program? Like, how many girls do we have returning, if you know, or kind of what does things stat in terms of how many seniors did you guys lose? Kind of what does your recruiting look like when it is able to resume?
Yeah, we have 2 rising seniors, which I'm really excited about. I think they're 2 kind of leaders that are ready to, kind of show some of these younger players how how much work needs to be done. But Bailey Thomas was the Defensive Player of the Year, so she's kind of a returning leader for us. Krista Jackman is the other senior. We have 3 incoming freshmen. 2 of them are local from Las Vegas kind of area, and then 1 from Arizona. All very nice young ladies. The nice thing is, I kind of touched on it earlier, is I've been able to speak with all of them in depth multiple times, which frankly, if school was in session and we'd be having workouts, I don't think they'd probably talk to me as much if we were sitting in my office. So it's been a good way to really probably build better relationships quickly with the girls than I think I would have in a normal situation. So I'm really excited. I think we have some, they had 7 freshmen and a transfer last year that are very talented, and so I'm excited to obviously get everyone on the court, kind of assess our ability, assess our talent, and I've been talking to the girls trying to get them excited, but I used maybe this game in particular is not a great reflection, but we want to score a lot of points. We want to get up and down, and that's the Runnin Rebels of the old that I remember. Those guys were getting up and down the court, and so I'm like, well, why can't we? So we have some great speed, athleticism. I think we have some great physicality. So offensively, I want to score a lot of points. Want to kind of get a lot of shots up, get some rebounds. So I'm excited for what we have coming in for our freshmen, and then who's coming back for us. And for the most part, it's been just all about excitement, positive energy, ready to work. They've really been so welcoming and vulnerable and honest with me, and I can't ask for anything more. So if anything, I'm kind of itching to get them on the court. So that's kind of the only maybe thing that we're just kind of having to stay patient with through all of this.
And you mentioned offense. A couple of possessions ago, Wink gave us our first lead of the game, and then we gave it right back up with the jump hook, and then Wendell White hit a 15-foot jump shot to give us the lead, and then Lee Kamard scored. And now this is where we are currently, where we're down 53-54 with 10 minutes left. And Kevin, do you recall at what moment during this game like things started to kind of turn the tide? Was it here? Was it later? What do you remember, if anything at all?
Yeah, I think just finally kind of getting over the hump. I think we kind of clawed back, obviously down big early, and then just kind of hovered in that 6 to 10 range for a little while. But then Wink being able to knock that shot down, we had so many good looks that Curtis came in. Then so getting that shot to go in, I think, was kind of what changed our confidence. We kind of started to relax a little bit, even though the speed of the game, I remember, just felt like it's amazing because it felt like it was just breakneck for the last 10 minutes, just up, down, up, down. But, now you watch it and it's really just a lot more methodical.
Yeah. I know, and the scoring does pick up. Each team scores 20-plus points here the rest of the way. And it's funny that we talk about the hair. KC Black, somebody on YouTube, wrote, Curtis, did you perm your hair? No, KC. The answer is no, I did not perm my hair. But I did have a very good hair regimen that I followed. It consisted of washing and conditioning, and then shake drying it out like that, and then just letting it air dry. Boom, no product, never put anything in it except for shampoo, conditioner, and let it air dry. That was the secret to my success. 2008
Curtis Terry hair wins by a mile.
Yeah, see, they were the curls were still tight and intact here, but then to the next season they just kind of get long and like Tiger King nasty, like just rah. But it was still good hair.
Where is it going?
It's coming back. Trust me, I just got a haircut yesterday. But it's coming back now. I got it all cut the same length, so that way, who knows how long we're going to be inside. But by the time I come out of the cave, the hair is going to be with me, hopefully.
You got some inspiration here for you today.
No, I just need a couple months.
You might get it.
I know. It could be perfect timing. Hair will be back. Turn back the clock. Just quarantine for a bit. Great Playstay.
I remember Playstay he was a heck of a player. He was a load.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He was going left, and it didn't matter.
Nope.
He could tell you he's going left. He's going to shoot a little baby hook, and he's going to make it either way.
Oh.
Gives it to White. White pulls up, trying to dump it off to Anthony. Anthony saved it from going out of bounds, and the Rebels with 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Now, if I remember the game correctly, now it's really just like kind of gut check back and forth here, right? It's like every possession was felt like the game-winning possession, even though there's 8 minutes left still.
Wow. It was definitely back and forth the whole time. And I remember, Kevin, what are your thoughts about those shoes that we're wearing? Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, best shoes I ever played in, I swear.
I remember those. Those were comfortable.
Those were the best.
I don't remember what they were called.
I don't either, but I know exactly what they look like. They were all white. They had the red and the gray on the back. Couldn't tell you what they were called, but they felt like walking on clouds.
I just remember the fans of this game, just like to your point, Lindy, is just how it felt like every bucket felt like it was the one that was going to win the game. You know, like there was a second to last possession, so you had to go get a stop to win it, and then they scored and you had the same feeling. But, I mean, the crowd was unbelievable. It was a great feeling. Great atmosphere.
Oh, man. Here we go. We've got another comment here on YouTube from our good friend and former marketing employee at UNLV and now at the University of Arizona. So if you get down with the University of Arizona, I can get down with that. Bear down to a degree, except for when they're playing the Rebels. Ben Chulik said, "Who do you guys fear more, Lee Kamard or Sarah Kamard?" It's an easy one for me. Sarah, no doubt. Thank goodness we had those barriers, though, post-game for that 2018.
That was next year, though, right?
Yeah, and she was not a very happy lady. She was not very pleasant to – she didn't speak very pleasantly to me, I should say. But, hey, they didn't win, so she could say whatever she wanted, but we still got the trophy, so. Joel. That's one thing, Joel. Joel and Lou weren't the best free throw shooters.
They could get there, though.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Darger in.
See, this is the thing about with our group. Like, it didn't matter. Like, at every possession, every dead ball, someone was in the backcourt trying to just deter the other team from even getting the ball or just pestering. We weren't going to take it from them, but that's what we did. You beat us, and you got to run into Joel on the backside.
That was by design.
I know.
That one specifically.
They most fake effort.
I do remember, though, Coach would actually get mad at Joel if he blocked the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
You don't play with a lot of people that have the ability to block shots and are expected to keep them in bounds.
Right. Now, Joel was a great defensive player. I mean, it goes to show you if you can play with LeBron, I think that's a talent in of itself. But then if you can play with those guys and just be the defense, the rebounder, just the garbage guy, I mean, there's nobody else better to do it than Joel because he takes it. His job is more important than anybody else's, and I would probably agree with him, especially during this season. And obviously, we know we got a lot of Rebel fans hopefully tuning in right now since you're not supposed to be doing much else since we're staying home for Nevada. If you guys are enjoying this and you guys want to see more live streams from other sports across UNLV athletics, as well as other past Runnin Rebel games, make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are leaving comments and let us know what you guys like so that way we can continue to bring you more of it to help you guys pass the time during the stay home for Nevada period. Oh, yeah. Get out of here. Clear out.
Mismatch. Oh. Foul. Come on.
Foul.
For sure. Tough to see.
And look at the coaches over there. He said, I got an extension of myself out there, Kevin.
He wasn't taking any chances. He was making sure I passed that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just good ball movement right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like trust. Just trusting. You know where, like, I know I'm supposed to come off the screen. The way they're guarding it, Kevin has to get out of the corner. Gaston knows he's going to dive to the rim to get that ball.
Gaston really, I mean, Joel started the first X number of games, and I remember he just kind of hit a little bit of a rough patch, and Gaston came in and had a great kind of remainder of the season, and Joel picked up his play as well to the point where he really could have been starting, and I remember it didn't mean anything to him to start. Like just winning was more important than the starting, and kind of allowed Gaston to continue to play the way he was playing, and so really at the end of the day, we got more out of both of them because of that.
100%. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? It's important. I could throw out so many cliches for you all day. But Kevin, can you just share with everybody, what are you guys doing right now in terms of with your guys, in terms of what are they doing to train? Like, how are they staying active? What do you guys have them going through currently right now?
Yeah, we actually we had a Zoom meeting earlier today, and just staying in touch, just staying in communication. I think as much as anything, like Coach Rocque said, that's about all you can do right now. Is just kind of continue to talk and kind of try to continue to get on the same page and kind of understand everything. It's hard because most people don't have. There's really nothing you can do other than like a body weight exercise or workout. So just staying active as best they can, go on a run. But at the end of the day, obviously the health's more important than anything. So they don't need to be going to gyms and getting shots up. They just need to be making sure they're staying healthy, doing what's asked of them by the university, CDC, and all that. But just to continue talking, just as much as we possibly can, just talking.
And Lindy, what about with your group? I mean, have you had any before this all? I know you just obviously just got brought on board within the last week and a half or so, but have you had a chance to meet with your players face to face at all, or has that all been over just video conferencing?
Well, it's been all video conferencing, FaceTime. So it's the same message. If anything, I've encouraged them to focus on the things that maybe they might slip on, during the season. Their academics being one. I think this is such a new educational challenge for the whole world, and our academic services team has been amazing. Just kind of doing, I mean, some of our girls have Zoom meetings every day just to help them get the tutoring, get the services they need. So, I think it's focusing on, some of that stuff, spending time with their families, obviously letting their bodies and health kind of recover and stay healthy. So got a little 4-point lead here, fellas.
Yeah, we just got a little glimpse of Umi Wade right there. Mike with the crossover pull-up jump shot, and then I don't know if there's anybody else I played with that when they got excited and they were pumped up. If it was more enjoyable to watch than Mike Umi, just because he'd basically like black out, and just all bets were off at that stage.
Yeah, the biggest thing, I mean, the worst thing ever is Mike just couldn't stay healthy continuously. I mean, once he finally kind of got healthy, he just continually played better, and it's too bad the season kind of ended when it did because he was still playing better every game, and this game's obviously an example of that. But I remember he missed a handful of games in November and December just because he couldn't quite stay healthy and stay at the level he wanted to be at. But man, he saved this.
Hey Kevin, that great segue to my next question here, and this is again from Chris J. Bukowski. How far do the Rebels go in 2007 if Tawan Porter doesn't go off in that game versus Oregon?
Me? You?
I'll let you start, man.
Well, we had Florida waiting for us had we won, but it would have been fun to play them. I know that. I mean, they were defending national champion, Joakim Noah, Al Horford, Corey Brewer, those guys, Torian Green. But it would have been interesting, but it would have been fun to play them, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and I think I've told you this before, I think we could have beat them. I think the one thing that took to bring us down was Tawan Porter, who had the best game of his life ever and didn't have another good game after that. Probably didn't make a three-pointer after that. But I think we could have matched up good with that Florida team. Now, who knows? Obviously, they go on to win 2 back-to-back national championships, but nonetheless, I just think the makeup of our team and how we were positioned and just the type of players that we had, I think we could have gave them a go. But I guess we'll never know. I could probably start rhyming and making like Dr. Seuss children's books as much teaching I've been doing over the last 2 weeks. Kev, how's the baby doing?
She's good. She's asleep right now.
Okay.
Little Cammy, she is 5 months. Sleeping great.
So she's loving the quarantine life.
She doesn't mind it. She's got both Allie and I here all day, weight on her hand and foot. So,
and we must say that you and Allie are pretty entertaining, at least from what we see on Instagram, man. The baby dancing the other day.
Oh gosh,
that was good stuff. You're dancing, shirtless. Hey.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Versus Rebel fans here. Coach Kevin dance. And there he is getting fired up now too.
Yeah, fired up wasn't the problem.
No.
The shots of the crowd, I remember obviously being in the stands for this game, and we touched on it earlier, just like every shot, everything was just so high intensity, and the atmosphere, it was like electric. I don't know, obviously what it felt like to be on the court, or if you remember that part of it, probably the celebration part when, at the end, but even throughout the whole game, I mean, you can see people are standing on the sides, like that kind of stand section that was on the baseline there. I mean, we stood the whole game. I'm pretty sure I was in there somewhere.
I mean, there was like 18. It was sold out. The two most just energy-packed games I played in were definitely this championship game and the following year against BYU. I mean, but that energy was it's electrifying in that building. I don't care what anybody says. Like, there's nothing like it being in that building when it's sold out and you're playing for something like we were in this game. Man, because like you said, Lindy, there was nobody sitting down. Everybody standing up into it. It was definitely a hot ticket that day.
I vividly remember those Rebel chants, Rebels. Oh, I feel like I see them in my sleep still. They were palpable.
Yes. I still get goosebumps every time they do the fireworks, roll the red carpet before every game. Sitting there, I get goosebumps. There might be something wrong with me, but I like it. Kevin, question: do you know if your guys, they're obviously making the most of it, doing what they can do, but are any of the guys on TikTok, or any of the guys out there making videos and engaging with fans and having fun on social media?
Oh, I'm sure they are. Yeah,
so
we
not on TikTok
that today in the Zoom meeting. That I guess Moses is like the TikTok champion right now, but Bakke is in a close second. Okay. Apparently, Bakke loves to dance and cook, I guess, which is, I don't know. I don't really understand TikTok, so I'm going to say something really dumb here in a second. But, yeah, and then Marvin and, Brice is quiet, but he's all over the social media stuff. I'm sure he's got the most TikTok videos and or comments or whatever, likes or however it goes. I'm sure he's got the most, because he's the quiet one that nobody really says anything. He tries to just kind of wait in the background, but then I'm sure he's leading the whole thing. but yeah, no, they said Moses is really good. So I don't know how Andy, I don't know how do you suggest, is it like an
I don't know. You're actually, I know I'm probably the young person here, but you're still asking the wrong person. I don't know. I don't know.
Handles are, if that's how they do it. I do know that Dan Butterly at the Mountain West said, though, that the highest attended Mountain West tournament game around this time was 16,500. So I'm going to say that it was at capacity, especially with Keena Young drawing the game within 3.
We keep scoring, but how do I keep ending up on Keena Young? What?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
Oh. What a gift there.
Yeah, that was close.
He was a monster.
Now that is somebody, if you follow him on Twitter or Instagram, he still looks like he's about 22 years old, and he could beat up a whole room full of people if he needed to.
Is that Jimmy Balderson, the aforementioned Jimmy Balderson, coming off the pick, who I have no idea who he is, honestly. I feel bad, but Jimmy's brother. No super bad fans? Okay. All right. I'm going to put out a list of movies and TV shows to watch them in their quarantine time.
All right, final minute here.
Here we go. And they didn't call a foul either. They called it just a block, didn't they? How about that? I mean, Gaston, that's, again, just sacrificing. Mike steps over, tries to take the charge, knowing that Gaston is there to protect the backside. And Keena Young. Ooh.
Ooh.
And then Kevin, we've got to give a shout out all the way from France. I don't know how your French is, but your boy Rene Rougeau says, "We love you, Kevin. Bonjour from France."
Love you too, Rene. Rene stepped in this game. Big shot from the corner to get us started.
Yep. And Kevin, like, what for you? What do you find? Like, what's the importance of bringing your team together, like in the huddle in that moment? Like, you're down, you're up 6, you're about to shoot free throws. Like, what are you saying? What are you spreading to your team?
Just be on the same page. I mean, like, you got to make sure everybody's on the same page, because, like, even if you're, wrong, you're right. If that makes any sense. But if you're all wrong at the same time, on the same page, with the same thought, then you've just got a better chance for the things to go your way.
And as Kevin's polishing off with a couple more free throws. Oh, look at that. We got the jerseys over the shoulders there. This is not set up, people. This is how I live my day every life. We live my life every day. I'm a Rebel. I even got my Rebel shirt here that my son made me. You can see it. It says UNLV Terry 31. So we're Rebels through and through out here. And Kevin, we share a little moment there.
Why don't we have that framed? I feel like that's.
I don't know. We've got to be able. Maybe we can ask the sports information director if we can be able to track that one down, get that blown up. I'll put it in the chat box here. No, but I mean, as we wind it down, your thoughts, Kevin? What did you? I mean, in terms of doing this, connecting with the fans, showing a little classic Rebels games here. It?
Great. This was great. This was fun to go down memory lane a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we got time, so
plenty of time. Lindy, how does it feel for you reliving some of your childhood moments?
Yeah, this is good. I mean, this has kind of actually been my life the last 2 weeks, kind of reflecting on some of my oldest and best Rebel memories. So now I'm excited to live it out as a Rebel myself now. So thanks for having me. It's been fun. Let's do it again.
Lots of fun. We've got, and I know for sure we've got at least one more Rebels Mountain West Conference tournament that we can celebrate. Oh, we've got to make sure we got to keep the camera rolling here, though, because I remember there's a shot of Andy Grossman here I want us to point out. I don't know if we're going to be able to screen grab it or not. Great moment, though, man. Swarming the court. People stealing towels. My barber told me the other day he swarmed the court and stole some Gatorade towels. Hopefully I have to get those back or invoice them for them. A lot of fun, man. 2007 Mountain West Conference Tournament champions. And I'll spoil it. We turn around and win it the next year. So back-to-back Mountain West Conference Tournament champions. Make sure, again, everybody that followed along, that watched, make sure that you like the video. Make sure that you subscribe to the UNLV Athletics YouTube channel. We want to make sure we continue to bring you guys all more content, just more times, things to lean back, relax with, and enjoy yourselves as you guys are going through this quarantine. Did we see it? Here it comes. Andy Grossman, right? No, where's he at? There he is, the young Andy Grossman. Woo! Looking smooth. Hasn't aged a day yet. Man, no, for sure. Runnin' Rebel channel. Make sure we YouTube, we subscribe, like, comment, show your support. Rebels are here. We're with you guys and the fans. Even though everybody's at home, we're all in this thing together. Make sure you guys enjoy. Make sure you guys stay safe, social distancing. But as soon as this thing does die down, make sure you guys get back out, support your local businesses, support UNLV Athletics. We've got football coming in the fall, Runnin' Rebel basketball, Lady Rebel basketball coming in the winter, as well as every other sport. So make sure you guys enjoy it, have fun, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.